everybody, Alkali Lake here, and I just got back from BlizzCon, and I'm super excited to talk to you about Hearthstone's new game mode called Battlegrounds. I got to stream it for a bit at BlizzCon, and it was really exciting, lots of interesting new gameplay, and it's going to go live for everybody on November 12th, so I think that you will need to be prepared with some rules and how the game works, so I hope this video helps you out. Cool fact, anybody who went to BlizzCon, got the virtual ticket, or purchased either of the two pack bundles for Descent of Dragons gets early access. Now, if you want to try to get early access, make sure to watch my stream from November 5th to November 11th, where I will have drops enabled and you can get the game early.
I can show you guys stuff, apparently. Battlegrounds rules. Play against 7 other players. Last player alive wins. There's 8 of us, like I said earlier. So we have the recruit phase and we have the combat phase. Recruit phase, you can buy. So, drag minions to your hero to buy them for 3 gold. Sell, drag minions to Bob to sell them for 1 gold. So that's what I was screwing up for sure. Was not, like, you can basically use a minion for what it's worth because everything keeps their buff. So if you got a minion that died and gave all minions plus something, you can sell it afterwards because all those minions already have the buff. But just remember, if you sell a minion that's really buffed up right now, then you're losing those buffs. Chipples, get 3 of a minion to upgrade it and get a bonus prize. Ooh, I didn't do that either. Rearrange. Drag your minions around to strategize your fight order. So the minion on the left attacks first, which is why I always had that Divine Shield minion first, and then it kind of goes random after that. Grow. Buffs during recruit phase are permanent. Tavern tier. Upgrade your tavern to see better minions. It's also something I need to do. Google boy, that's hilarious. Okay, last page. Left to right, your leftmost minion attacks first. Random targets, each attack is at a random enemy unless one has taunt. So that's in addition to. And then buffs. Buffs during combat phase are temporary. Okay, buffs during combat phase. Okay, hold on. Victory. When you win a combat, your hero and minions deal damage equal to their tavern tier. Oh, I see. Okay, that part, I was wondering how they were calculating the damage dealt to the hero, and that makes sense now. Okay.
At the start of every Battlegrounds game, you will get to choose from 3 different heroes. I believe there are 20 total, and each different hero has a different ability. Some of the abilities cost 1 mana, some cost 2, and some of them are passive. And it'll show when you hover over them, and there's so many, I don't even know which ones they all are yet, but they are all pretty neat. I chose Ragnaros here to start this game, which does 8 damage to 2 random enemy minions. At the start of each game, you'll get to see which heroes your opponents have chosen, and you'll go immediately into the first recruit phase, which gives you an option of 3 minions, and you only have 3 mana, and each minion costs 3 mana, so that's really your only choice unless you want to refresh and freeze. Refresh is the one that has a backwards button with a 1 above it, and freeze looks like a snowflake and will freeze the minions that you see for your next turn. In this game, there are beasts, mechs, murlocs, and demons, but don't feel like you need to lock yourself in the beginning. You have until at least turn 3 or 4 to figure that out. I ended up choosing Righteous Protector because I had Taunt and Divine Shield. In the game, minions attack left to right first, and then it's random after that. I thought it was a good minion to start with, and you can see here in our first combat phase that I lose this round, but it's not really a big deal because I'm still developing my presence and I have a lot to decide from here on out. Next is the next recruit phase, and I see another Righteous Protector in front of me. I have a choice here to take it, which might have been the best choice, but instead I decided to upgrade my tier level because I saw other players were doing it and I didn't want to miss out on having upgraded tier minions being offered to me. So I didn't take it, but I don't know, that's questionable on what I should have done. At the top of the board, the 7 on the right of Bob is your tier level, and then the one that looks like a backwards arrow with the 1 above it is refreshing the board, and the one that looks like a snowflake is what freezes it for the next turn if there's something you want to keep. So I actually kept the Righteous Protector frozen for the next turn, so it ended up working out in my... Here we are at the combat phase. Again, not concerned about this round. I know I have a frozen Righteous Protector that I'm going to be coming back to, so damage here doesn't really matter. Here we're back in the recruit phase, and I take the Righteous Protector that I had frozen the turn before. That's 3 mana, takes me down to 2, so I look at the board, see if there's something good I can freeze. There's not. I just hit my hero power, so I know I'm going to be doing 8 damage to 2 random enemy minions next turn, and I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot here. Again, you want to look at, is there anything on the board you want to freeze? Maybe pay attention to what your opponents have been playing. Start trying to see if they're taking Murlocs, demons, what they're doing. If you had extra mana, you could potentially consider stealing something, even though you're not going to play it from other people. Back in the combat phase, and I am facing Funny Patron, who has started developing a Murloc deck. My hero power does 8 damage to 2 random enemy minions, but it chooses the wrong ones, and I am faced with the bigger minions on the board, and Funny Patron is able to hit me for 3 damage because his minion left on the board is a tier 1 level, adding 1 extra damage to the already 2 hero power, which hits me in the face. Back onto the recruit phase, and I don't have a lot of options here. The minions presented to me aren't very attractive to me. I only have 6 mana, which means if I upgrade my tier level, I can't in turn buy something. So I keep deciding to refresh here, and I make a critical error, which you'll see on this refresh. I refresh, I get a Righteous Protector, and I just don't see it. The game, I'm running out of time. There's 12 seconds left, and I don't take the Righteous Protector. I kept this game to show you guys because that's a big deal. They would have leveled up. It would have made my Righteous Protector a 2/2 and offered me an even better minion. I noticed it way too late, and I decided to freeze it so I can grab it the next turn. So, bad deal there. So I got lucky after that game because this opponent was weak, and I was not punished from my errors from the last game. I was able to hit them for 6. On to the recruit phase again, and you get to see me not make the mistake once, but twice. There's clearly the Righteous Protector in front of me that I froze the last game. Again, I'm pointing out my errors to you guys because it can only help you. I want you guys to enjoy this game as much as I do. I take the Spawn of N'Zoth first. Eep, I play it, leaves me with 4 mana. I'm realizing at that point, uh-oh, I made an error. I see the Righteous Protector, I grab it. That lets those minions be able to triple up. I get to play a 2/2 Righteous Protector, and I get offered something even better. I get the triple reward, and I am able to pick a prize. I choose the Infested Wolf at this point because it was just the better of the 3 options. If I would have chosen correctly from the beginning, I would have had the triple reward option first, which would have allowed me to make better choices after that. The good thing about it, though, is I learned the error of my ways. Finally, after 2 mistakes, we're facing Jinju Patron here, and I could clearly see this guy has a good deck, and I need to find ways to strengthen my deck and fix the errors that I have. But I know I'm suited better for the next round because I already have 1 tripled up minion, and it can only go up from here, friends. Recruit phase again. This time I see something pretty cool in front of me. I see a hyena and I have an infested wolf on my board. I now see that I can build some sort of synergy, which I was lacking before. I didn't really have anything. Righteous Protector is not a dedicated class. Neither is N'Zoth. And so since I have a beast on the board and there's a beast in front of me, I'm like, here we go. We have to dedicate. I take the hyena. And I have the option of upgrading to tier 3, which looking back at this game, I think would have been the right move. But my mind thought since I already pulled 1 hyena from this tier, maybe I could refresh and find another one. So I took my chances and refreshed what was there and just kept refreshing again because I was really digging for that other hyena at this point. Since I didn't find the hyena, I last minute decided to freeze just because I saw some beasts on the board and wanted to make sure I had at least 1 offered to me. Hero power goes off twice in the combat phase, dealing 2 damage to random enemy minions. I see here that we're facing off against a demon deck, and I now realize that maybe my beast deck can be pretty strong since I'd only really seen mechs and murlocs and now demons. Hopefully that would increase the amount of beasts I have available to me. This round ends up in a draw, none of us takes damage, and we're on to the next recruit phase. Here we can see that I decide to upgrade my tavern tier finally because the game prompted me to. It's pretty nice like that. So upgraded, and now I'm up to tier 3. Again, you guys should have seen me do this earlier. I'm wanting to show you these mistakes so you guys can see, how you can improve your gameplay in the future. This was just the first day I'd played it. Upgrading your tavern tier level is really important. Here I don't have a lot of good options. I decided to sell Righteous Protector back just because it was only a 1, and almost taking any tier 2 or tier 3 minion at that point would have been better. It did have the taunt, it did have the divine shield, so this was the wrong turn for me to get rid of it. I'm kind of scrambling here. I see there's a hyena, so I quickly freeze it before the game can start, and now I know I'll have my hyena for the next turn, and we're sitting better than we were before. Although I'm pretty sure I'm going to lose this game because I got rid of my taunt minion. So here we go again, Ragnaros doing his job, dealing 8 damage to 2 random enemy minions, which was actually really helpful for me in this game. We're facing a player who's playing mechs, and I have hyenas that can keep growing. I know I'm going to get more hyenas next turn, so I wasn't that worried when I took so much damage this game, and having to end up in these microbots, only adding 3 damage to the hero power, I take 7 here, and I feel pretty good for the next game to start. Here we are in the recruit phase again, and I have the hyena that I had frozen last time ready to go, which is why freeze is so important. Now I have 2 hyenas, and I'm really going to be trying hard in the next rounds to try to find that third one. After playing the hyena, I realize here I need to upgrade my tier, or I need to refresh and see if I can get another one. I have the option, if I sell things back, to be able to still use the tier upgrade, so I decided to refresh first to see if I might get another beast. And here you can see I get the other infested wolf, which is going to let me triple up again. So they triple up, and I get a 6/6 wolf, and then I get offered a triple reward. Here I decided to go with the Annoy-O module because I really felt having that divine shield and taunt minion was going to help protect my hyenas, which would be good for me in the long game. And I freeze again because I see a beast on the board, which is that dire wolf. I want to keep it for the next round for sure. Combat phase again, and I was pretty happy I pressed my hero power the last turn because it did 8 damage to 2 random enemy minions, but it hit the wrong ones and it buffed them, so I was sweating at this point, and I had to hope that my hyenas wouldn't die early because their board was just too threatening. I knew I could survive whatever damage I might take if I lost this round, but they just got the best of me, and I end up taking 12 damage here, which was a pretty big blow, but my board I knew was looking pretty good. Back to the recruit phase, and I knew I had that dire wolf frozen from last time. Still wasn't sure if I was going to use it, but I just wanted the option, so freeze can be your best friends. I decided to take Houndmaster because Battlecry minions are good to sell back to Bob, and you get to keep the effect that they have. So even though Houndmaster is not great for me to have on the board, it's great for me to buff like my taunt minions, for example, to keep my hyenas protected. At this point, again, I have the option to rank up my tier, which, again, new player should have done earlier. But I learned from it. I decide I have 2 hyenas on board. I should maybe try to get the third. So I just keep refreshing, looking for some good options. I'd already fared pretty well in the past with this deck against the other players, and I got a bit greedy here, trying to find those other hyenas. Pretty greedy indeed for only having 10 health. I see the pack leader there, and it gives my summoned beast an extra 3 attack, which means that the spiders coming out of this infested wolf would end up dealing more damage, so I decided to go with it. From the start of the next game, I knew I was in trouble, so here we are at the combat phase. I'm facing the person who's in the #1 spot, and they have a really strong mech board, and I had not pressed my hero power. So I knew if I had to face this guy again in the future, especially with one person already dead, I would definitely have to press Ragnaros and get that hero power if I didn't die this game. He hits me for 9. I end up surviving with only 1 health left, and I realize the error of my ways and how valuable Ragnaros can be. Alright, recruit phase of the next game, I decided it's really important for me to upgrade the tier of the minions being offered to me, especially after facing some really strong opponents. So I upgrade here, which leaves me with 5 mana left over. I realize I probably need to get rid of Spawn of N'Zoth here. It's not allowing me to develop the board, but I don't see anything being offered by Bob that I like, so I refresh. I see that I have a beast here. It's better than N'Zoth. N'Zoth hadn't been helping me that much. I was hoping the buff from it would be a helpful factor in maybe landing on a hyena, but it never ended up being that way. So I take Rat Pack here and decide to put it next to my Dire Wolf because it would summon more rats that way. So I sell back N'Zoth, I play Rat Pack, and then I don't have enough mana here to buy something else. So learning from the last game, I decide to hit my hero power so I can deal 8 damage to 2 random enemy minions and take advantage of that super strong Ragnaros ability. Going into combat mode, next I knew I had to perform this game because I only had 1 health left. Here we go. Immediately, my hero power does some amazing things, taking out 2 big minions, and I knew I had this game from the get-go. Poor Kel'Thuzad didn't have a chance. We finally take somebody out of the game and live to see another day. Going into the next recruit phase here, I hit the jackpot. You can see I have the hyena there. I was going to be able to get the triple reward. So I take it, which makes my hyena a 4/4 that gets +4/+2 when a beast dies, which is just insane. Frees up your board space here too. I look at my triple rewards and I see I have a choice between Goldrin and Ironhide Direhorn. It was a tough choice, and maybe looking back I probably should have taken the Goldrin, but I wanted the ability to summon another minion because a lot of minions on the board, especially with a beast deck, seemed to be the way to go. I make sure to move my Kaboom Bot first, so I deal damage to an enemy minion, and I also have Taunt and Divine Shield leading the way. The next bit was hard for me because I had already had a pretty good board, and this is where I did not use the strategy of trying to take things away from my opponents. Because I already had a good board, I should have been thinking about taking minions away that they might need, especially the Murlocs, because there was a strong Murloc deck developing, there was a strong Demon deck developing, and also a Mech one as well. So once you already have a good presence, maybe think about taking something away from your peers that you're playing with as a good win strategy. Going into combat phase again, you can see that my hero ability did some work here, dealing 8 damage to 2 enemy minions. Divine Shield definitely sucks against that hero power, but I knew we had to do something here. I'm down to 1 health. This game is like a Hail Mary. I've got to win this one. This mech deck was scary, and we were facing the #1 player at this point. So I really just didn't need that hyena to die. It's all RNG at this point. You just have to hope for the best. You have to hope you put the taunt minion first, the right minions die in the right order, and here I started to see I had a chance. This game ended up in a draw. None of us took damage, and I was able to move on to the next round. On to one of the final recruit phases. I'm in the top 3, and I don't think there's a lot I could do here. So the first thing I do is just upgrade the tier of the minions being offered to me. I already have a Divine Shield Taunt. I already have the Beast Synergy. I did not think that there was a lot more that I could do to make my board better. So again, just upgrading my the tier of the minions being offered and maybe trying to steal something from them, or hitting my hero power to get that deal 8 damage to 2 enemy minions was all I could really do here. I mean, I'm at 1 health. Like, I don't know what I was expecting to do. I mean, at this point, it's all just pray. Pray I'll be okay. Maybe freeze something and have something if I survive another round. All I could really do here. Moving on into the final combat phase, I was pretty sure I was not going to win this game. I'd survived so long with only 1 health left. Even with Ragnaros' hero power dealing 8 damage to 2 random enemy minions, it could not get through so much Divine Shield. You can also see there's 2 poison minions on the board. At this point, no matter how big my hyena got, which it gets pretty big here, it was not going to live if it hit a poison minion. So this was the perfect deck against me. All this poison, all this divine shield. You can see here that in the end, my hyena gets up into the high 40s and it doesn't matter. Funny Patron is able to take me out of the game and hit me in the face for 9 damage, putting me in 3rd place. I had a ton of fun playing this game. 3rd place was good enough for me on my first day of playing. It was a blast. I can't wait to learn more about the play style. And you know what? Bob in the tavern is actually pretty cool too. After you lose or win, he gives you this really nice thanks for playing. Bob is a pretty good guy. Don't forget, early access is November 5th to November 11th. If you want to get those drops in game, make sure to stop by my stream, twitch.tv/alkalilake. Thanks for your patience while I tried something new. I look forward to getting better at the game and showing you new content. Hit like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this.